Hi, I'm Tinky. I'm a street artist from Melbourne and I use miniature figurines and oversized objects to add some humour to the streets of Melbourne. I define myself as a creative person, I guess. So I have a love of comedy, or for comedy. So I try and incorporate my sense of humour into the art that I create. It makes it a lot more fun. The last thing I made was something on the street, so I often place my miniature scenes, dioramas in the street, like in a hole in the wall, or where there's been a missing brick, or a crack, fissure on a pipe or something like that. And the last thing I made was a little scene in Presgrave Place in Melbourne, and it was just a ceramic lemon. It was pretty simple, but it had a little older gentleman on the top of it and an older lady with the walking frame on the ground walking away from the lemon. And the story behind that was that George's relationship had failed and he was feeling a little bit sour about that, and it was time that he found a new squeeze. So it's just, you know, using a play on words and the puns behind what the little miniature figurines are sitting upon. My favourite one, actually that's a good question and easy for me to answer. I had my first solo exhibition last year at Off the Curb Gallery in Collingwood, and one of the pieces I made for that was something I hadn't tried before, and that was using taxidermy. It was a duckling, taxidermy duckling. I sat that in a glass cloche and I had a little ladder going up the duckling from the bottom of the cloche up to the top of his back, and a little miniature gardener on the top of that who was clipping his the ducklings down, and then the clippings had fallen back onto the ground, and there was another little gardener that was sweeping up the clippings, and the story behind that was that the gardener had thought that it was his best attempt at topiary yet, and so that, to me, I don't know, I found that amusing myself, and I know that it sold very quickly and it was a very popular one, so I knew I'd hit the mark with the comedy on that one, so that was my favourite. I'd really love to know how to sculpt and mould, actually. I don't have either of those skills, and I really admire those, that other people have those skills. I'd love to learn how to sculpt, but in miniature, which I think will be a challenge, but I'm certainly up for learning how to do that. There is an artist I really admire called Isaac Cordal. He's in Belgium, I believe, and I know that he creates the most beautiful miniature figurines. They're certainly larger than my miniature figurines, but he sculpts them all by hand and they're just beautiful, and he's quite inspiring. So yeah, I'd love to learn how to do that.